Welcome to Steamers Weekly. I'm Austin Weaver.
And I'm Chris Lehman.
This is the first edition of the Steamers Weekly webcast. This will cover the first 2 weeks of the season. If you join us next week, we'll cover everything that has happened in the previous week. So the Steamers have started the season 6-2 and are currently on a 3-game win streak. So Chris, tell me about the starting pitching and some of the things you think that have led to such a hot start for the Steamers.
Well, you really have the starting pitching, like you said, is a big key. They've helped this team get deep into games. In fact, only one starting pitcher in the rotation has not been able to get to at least 5 innings. That was Chris Bonk. He struggled a little bit with his first outing, only going 3 2/3, but I expect to see that get better as he gets more reps and gets more game experience in the Coastal Plain League. But combined, starting pitching, and this is including the 3 2/3 outing for Chris Bonk, combined 44 2/3 innings pitched, a 3.22 ERA, 51 strikeouts to just 12 walks for the starting pitching. So not only are they getting deep into games, but they're containing the bats of opposing teams. And as we'll talk about in a little bit, the explosive offense of the Steamers is capitalizing on that.
And I think last night's game is a key example of pitchers going deep in the games. Jacob Banks, in his second start with the Steamers, had thrown a no-hitter through 7 innings and only gave up 2 hits in a winning effort.
Yeah, and the big thing for me in that was after he goes 7 innings without giving up a hit, the first batter, leadoff batter in the 8th inning, gets a hit. A lot of times when that kind of thing happens, it's like when it rains, it pours, and you see 3, 4, 5 runs come in, and then your team's really in trouble. In the case of Banks, he was able to keep it under control. He stayed level-headed, and he finished out the inning and kept the Steamers in the lead, and eventually they would go on to win 3-2.
And I think another thing to talk about other than starting pitching has been the play of second baseman Chad Sedillo. Sedillo got off to a hot start. Currently has 4 home runs through 8 games, and all 4 of those came in a 3-game stretch. Just some quick numbers on Sedillo. He's second in the league in average, first in slugging, tied for first in RBIs with Hunter Newman, who's also a Steamer. He's tied for third in hits, leads the league in home runs, and is also hit by pitch the second most in the league. So some of these stats, he's almost leading almost every batting statistic in the league, and I think that bodes really well going forward. For a second baseman to have led the league in home runs to this point says a lot about Chad's batting abilities.
Oh, yeah, and if you go back a day before and look at the stats, he's leading and in the top 5 in even more categories. So he got overtaken in last night's game, which he didn't get to play in because of a batting practice injury. He had to go get some stitches. But still, very hot start. In his last 3 games, 4 home runs. He is the only player in the Coastal Plain League right now that has multiple home runs. So a hot start. He's very confident. I was able to talk to him last night. Of course, disappointed that he couldn't play and that he'll be out of the lineup for a few days. But still, I expect him to come back and pick up right where he left off.
Let's talk about some of the excitement that's gone on at Hicks Field. Through 3 home games, we've had 2 walk-off wins in back-to-back fashion. The first game, Dimitri Taylor hit a 2 RBI double, and in our last home game, Hunter Newman hit a home run over left field. What do you think about the team's ability to be down late in games but still find a way to come back and win?
Well, one thing that I've called it is responsive batting for the Steamers. When they give up runs, more often than not, they come back with some of their own. In fact, a few games into the season, I was able to compile a statistic. The Steamers had given up runs in 9 separate innings. 2 of them were bottom of the 9th runs, so no chance for the Steamers to respond. But if you look at the other 7, in 5 of those 7 instances, the Steamers were able to come back with runs in one of their next 2 trips to the plate after giving up those runs. So very responsive. They're not intimidated when they give up runs. They know what they need to do. They come back and they do it.
Well, that'll do it for this week's Steamer recap. Next week's game, Monday night, will be at home against Wilmington, and it's Meet the Steamers night. All kids that come in through the gate will get a free autograph book, and at the conclusion of the game, all the players will sit down at tables, and we invite all the fans and children in attendance to come and meet the players and get an autograph. We have Tuesday and Wednesday off. Thursday will be at Peninsula, and then Friday will be a makeup game for us, the game that was rained out this evening against Petersburg. We'll have a doubleheader that starts at 6 p.m. And then on Saturday, the team travels to Morehead City and takes on the Marlins. That'll do it for us this week. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again next week.